Hello, welcome in Abentur Adventures in Lollygagging. I'm Steven, I'm your GM, and these are the people who are playing. They're not nearly as important as me, but we'll get to them eventually at some point, I'm sure. We're recording again because my schedule is just constantly screwed up. And these poor people are like, when are we going to play? And I'm like, never. It's just not going to happen unless you all rearrange your entire lives for me, which is what we're doing. So last time I asked Ashley what she would say to her future self, and she really didn't have much other than like do the laundry. So Long, give us some wisdom here. What do you have to say to yourself in the future?
I'm glad you did that.
What did you do?
Highly non-specific.
That's for him to find out.
It's for you to do and future you to find out.
All right. I fully expect you to be in chat on Friday and tell us what it was that you're glad you did. All right. Enough of my stupid ramblings. Let's do a recap. Because it's been like a month and a half since we played, so
Something
everyone
like
has
that.
forgotten everything. So yeah, last session, 2 months had passed since the investigation at the Donauer farm. The Institute has been renovated since the water damage, replacing the basement aesthetic with a modern corporate decor. Lucian's experiments with the bone turner's tail have gone awry, and he does not look okay. Zander has begun to obsess over his newfound knife, leading to conversations with a woman in his head. The team is now fully focused on researching the statement of their old boss, Shirley Harlock. And their investigations have led them to an American incarcerated in Berlin, a Dr. Harold Malloy. And while boarding the train to Berlin, yet another dispute broke out between Lucian and Zander. I'm beginning to think these two don't like each other. I wonder why. The dispute was over Zander planning on bringing his knife to the prison with them. After a tense standoff that caused the group to miss their train, Zander deferred to the group and left his knife in a storage locker at the train station. When the team finally arrived at the prison, a radio in the interrogation room picked up a strange signal. A child's voice said, "Find the doorman if you want to leave. Find the smiling man if you want to stay. Forever." We are picking up the same moment we left off. So you are in the visitor's room of the Berlin prison hospital. This room is divided in half by a large plexiglass wall. There is a single chair that sits opposite side of the glass, and your side has a long, thin table with several chairs on a single side of the table. There's a couple other chairs that are pushed back against the wall, so all five of you can sit down at this table if you'd like. You get the vibe that this is for like parole hearings and interviews by panels of experts, that kind of thing. There's jazz music that's softly playing from the radio sitting on the shelf behind you. Zander, as you're sitting here waiting a few minutes, you can't help but feel just a sense of overwhelming loneliness. You have your coworkers here nearby. You've known them, some of them since childhood, others, for years. And yet, despite being surrounded by these very familiar people, you feel like you're just left alone in this world. It's cold, it's distant, like they're strangers. After a few minutes of waiting, the other side of the door opens up. You see a prison guard usher in, presumably, Dr. Malloy. He's this short, thin man with wire-framed glasses. He's wearing a brown cardigan over a plain white patient's clothes. And he looks at the guard, looks at you, and he kind of sizes you up and then just starts kind of retreating into his own thoughts. And he says to himself as much as any of you, "What I'd give for a Caesar salad paired with a nice, crisp white wine, like a Pinot Grigio." And he's speaking German with an accent, but still quite fluently. So he's mastered the language, but you can tell that he wasn't a native German. And he continues on as he starts slowly walking towards this chair on the other side of the glass. You never realize how much you miss the little joys in life until they're taken away. Like cake and candy. And he just slowly goes and sits down in this chair, and you see that he kind of like sinks into it, like he's defeated almost. He just exudes this air of sadness, like this despondent. Zander, as you're looking at him, you almost feel a weird kinship, this despondent loneliness. He looks up. I don't believe any of you are doctors. Not that I mind the visitors. I don't have many people to talk to anymore. Why are you here?
Hello.
We're following up on a colleague of ours that spoke with you a few years ago, Shirley Harlock.
Oh, yes, I remember Shirley. She was quite sweet.
Her report that she had taken from you was water damaged, so we're here to follow up on that and reacquire your report statement to the Institute.
Well, I don't get many visitors. I'm happy to sit and talk, and if you have questions, I'll answer the best I can, but I'll be honest, I haven't done any of those crimes that were accused. I was there, and I remember them. But if you're looking for confession, well, I can't help you.
I don't believe Shirley was there for a confession from you either. She is looking for someone that was at the event that you were at.
Which event?
And then she kind of goes through and kind of details what we have received so far.
So if you remember with Dr. Malloy, that he went on a camping trip with his friends. His friends went missing. And then after that, he basically went on a murder spree, targeting people on their wedding night or their honeymoon, specifically. So it was over the course of several years that he was doing this.
Okay.
And then, of course, you also know about an event that happened when he was a child, but that's not the one that made headlines the way what he's known for. I'd be happy to talk to you about something specific, but I don't know which one you would be referring to.
Yeah.
Well, if you're settled in for a bit of time, perhaps we can go back to the start of things. We understand that there was a momentous event that occurred in your childhood. We can start there and work forward.
Oh, yes. The night my mother died.
So, Steven, I actually, as part of my equipment, have a microphone designed to be concealed, and I also have a smartphone. May I use either of those in this moment to just record his statement so we can transcribe it later?
Absolutely. You'd be able to set up like a voice memo app on your phone, or you could have an app already downloaded and you can set it out on the table. It would absolutely
just so we don't have to try to keep up with writing.
It's interesting that you ask about that event. Most people are more concerned about what happened after, but Shirley asked about that too. Well, it was a Halloween night, and I was going to visit my friends. My mother, she was ill for some time. She had a last-minute appointment with a doctor, and he gave me medication for her, and I gave her the medication. Unfortunately, I got the dosage wrong. it was a complete accident, but there was a part of me that also knew the risk. But I wasn't there when she passed. I was just trying to sneak away. She was a very needy person. And I just wanted to spend a few hours with my friends and be a child. So I gave her medication and I went out and I visited my friends at the old Harlock house. It was a rundown, decrepit building. We play there quite often. We would play Vampire the Masquerade. And, we got into a bit of a scuffle, actually, with some neighborhood bullies. It just horrid children. But, my friend's little brother, I think his name was Rowan Johnson. He tried to get away from the bully by climbing into the basement window of the house, and he got stuck down there. And we went to get him out, and we couldn't find him, I guess. The rest of that night, ended up being quite a blur. It ended up causing all of us, we had years of therapy, and it ended up being the inspiration for me to become a psychiatrist. I wanted to help people. I wanted to be the person that was consoling the children and helping them resolve their problems. And I was good at it for a long time.
If you don't mind me asking, what was your mother ill from?
Oh, she had several chronic illnesses. Sometimes I wonder if she wanted to have chronic illnesses. It was a reason for her to keep me close by. Maybe she played them up, but maybe they were real.
Well, you did become trained as a psychiatrist, so some things can be psychosomatic.
Yes, and...
But did you... I know you were still a child. Did you know what the medication was or why she received new medication?
I was told the dosage, and I was told that I needed to be precise with it. But it required me to stay and give her the medicine every hour. And
I
went out that night. So I just gave her the entire dose.
I see. How old were you at the time?
Around 12.
It's a lot of responsibility put on a 12-year-old.
Yes, my father passed away years prior, so it was just me and my mom.
And she was so ill that she could not give herself this medication?
Mentally ill, where she could not be trusted with it, yes. But that was a long time ago, and I've processed it. I know that it was my fault, but I also know that I was too young to really be responsible for it.
Of course. Absolutely. So unfortunate for so many things to happen all on the same night.
Yeah, it was a strange coincidence. But it bonded my friends and I. We began having yearly reunions. Every Halloween we'd have a little retreat to get away from everyone else celebrating. We wanted to just pull away and just forget about it. We would end up going out into the woods to a friend of ours had a log cabin up there that they'd let us use. We would play Vampire the Masquerade most of the weekend, just reliving the old days. Until, of course, that ended as well.
Doctor, I must ask, it sounds like you had a very nurturing spirit when you were younger and you wanted to take care of people, but those are not in line with the crimes you committed, which are quite horrific.
Well, as I told you, I did not commit those crimes. I was there, I witnessed them, but those were not me.
Can
Do you know
expand on
who
that?
committed those crimes?
Yes,
I do know who
please
committed
expand on that.
So what I'm about to tell you, it's going to sound crazy. He looks around at this bare room that he's locked in. I have been told that I'm in denial, but I've been told I can't face what I've done. But I know the difference. It was different when I killed my mother. I know that my mother was my fault. If not morally responsible, physically, I was the one who gave her the medication. I know that was me. With the others, that was not me. I know the difference. They tell me that I need to accept it so that I can process and begin work on rehabilitation, but what's it matter now anyways? I can't bring those poor people back from the dead, and I'm never leaving a prison. Even if Germany releases me, I'll be extradited to France and then the UK and so on. I won't give up the truth simply because it's hard to understand.
But what is the truth? Was there somebody? Did it feel like somebody was operating you without you wanting it?
That's exactly, honestly, that's exactly what it was. It felt like I was trapped behind a window with a demon at the controls, and we were close. I couldn't help it. She has an allure. It's just like being a passenger in my own body.
She has an allure? Who is she?
Gill Ravage. And Zander, at that name, you feel some of that loneliness start to dissipate. You feel that sense of kinship begin to grow as well.
Is it because I recognize the name, or just the feeling randomly came to me?
You recognize the name. He's referring to the woman of your dreams, we could say.
Hang on a second. Dr. Harold Malloy? If I can call you Harold.
Or Hal.
That name you brought up gives me a certain feeling. Why is that?
I couldn't tell you, but you can almost smell her, can't you? Like fresh roses. A wedding bouquet, maybe?
Yes, your description is quite on point.
Anyways, Gill Ravage, she was the one who committed those crimes, and I saw it all happen. I smelled the sweat, the fear. I felt the warmth of the blood splattering my face. I could feel the taste. I could taste it when it ran down my lips, and it tasted so sweet. It tasted like cake. But I wasn't the one doing it. I wasn't there. Not really. If I could have prevented it, I would have.
I'm sorry, did you say it tasted like cake?
Red velvet.
Naveen's gonna look pointedly at Zander, who has been walking around with the king knife. But not say anything, but look at him kind of meaningfully, hoping he understands. But we'll kind of turn back to him, to Dr. Malloy. Do you have any sense of why she chose you? Or the people that she had you kill?
I know the people were... It was about the hunt. It was the thrill. She didn't relish in the actual murder. She relished in the fear that it instilled ahead of time. I think she targeted people on their honeymoon because it was a joyous occasion. And she told me that it felt like it created a much sweeter taste. As for why me, well, it wasn't that she wanted me, not in the slightest. Honestly, I was her backup option. Gil Ravage and I, we both wanted out. I wanted to get away from the smiling man, and she was trapped by him, and then I became trapped by her.
Did you say smiling man?
Yes. I don't know his actual name. If he has a name, if he's actually a person. And I can tell you that his smile does not come from a place of happiness. It does not instill happiness. It's a mockery.
Shirley Harlock did mention that she was witnessing a smiling man. Can you please detail the events of when you also witnessed this smiling man?
I would rather not, but I'm sure it wasn't the same smiling man, if that's what you're saying. I only saw him that night that my friends died.
I will share with you that we have been seeing a smiling man, so we are professionally interested and personally quite curious as to what you know about him and what level of concern we should have.
I don't think it's this. It's going to sound crazy, but he can't leave the house.
So are you trying to say that every time you saw him in a house?
I only saw him in person once. I saw a picture of him in the house as well. But he was the house. Or at least part of the house. A facet of the house. I feel like the house has lots of facets. And he was one of the thirstiest facets.
Have you heard of the Lacuna?
No. I don't know what that word is.
It could be described as a nexus, an infinitely faceted crystal, and she'll go on to describe, or maybe on her notepad sketch out what we have seen in the notes of what it should look like.
As soon as you say crystal, you can see him perk up. The first Halloween, when Rowan went missing, we found a crystal in the basement of the Harlock house. Rather large one.
And it was floated above the dais?
How would you know that?
We have discovered some notes from Shirley's research. She went looking for who you mentioned is Rowan Johnson.
She went looking for him. She'll never find him.
She believes he's still there, and there's still a chance that she could get him out.
Why do you say that with such conviction?
She wanted to go into the house.
Well, the Nexus. But if you believe that that's part of the house, then that could be a facet of the Nexus.
We explored the whole house. Maybe not the whole house, a lot of the house, and there was no sign of Rowan. If she's in there, she's not coming out. I went in there with 3 of my best friends, and I was the only one who left alive.
A quick question out of character. Him being the only one that left alive is not the same information that Shirley had? I just want to make sure that if that's a detail that is incongruous with what we know.
Shirley
from her.
has that James Carandini's body was found, and that Wayne Culver and Stephanie Johnson were missing.
Okay, so it is a detail that doesn't match. Okay, thank you. So, Doctor, you say none of them live. That doesn't seem to match other things that we had heard, that there were multiple who went missing, but all 3 of them died that night?
Well, it's the truth is complicated. Let's just say. James, his spirit remained in the house. His body left. Wayne, neither left the house. And Stephanie, well, she didn't die, but she didn't leave the house. She was still there. I was the only one who left alive.
But the house was demolished.
No, a different house.
As Naveen said earlier, please provide us with additional details. If it wasn't that house, which house are you talking about?
And as if to sweeten the deal, Frieda reaches into her briefcase and she gets like a sleeve of powdered sugary donuts, and she'll kind of slide it across the table to him. Oh, is there?
No way to hand anything over.
Is there any way like I could give it to like a security guard to give to him on the other side?
You could try to do it with security guards, but there's none in the room with you right now. So if you wanted to go out and look for one, you could.
Well,
or just at least show him that you have it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's call this intellect test. We'll say difficulty 3 here.
Okay. I'm just gonna rip it.
All right, you got an 11, which beats difficulty 3.
Nice.
He does kind of perk up a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure they'd let me if you were willing to hand it over. That he kind of like pulls his cardigan. I'm friendly with the guards. It shouldn't be a problem. Listen, I can explain more. It's not that I'm unwilling to talk about it, but you got to understand it doesn't make sense, but it is true.
We take statements. It doesn't necessarily need to make sense. We just need your statement of the events as you witnessed them.
When we went in the cabin, we ended up in a place other than the cabin. As soon as we walked through the door, we were in the house. And it was the same house that Rowan was lost in, and it was sort of the Harlock house, but it wasn't the Harlock house. We'd been in the Harlock house dozens of times as children, but that night that Rowan went missing, it was the Halloween 1999, it was a different house. We went in and there were people in the house that should not have been there doing grotesque things. And then 22 years later, we go into this cabin that we'd been in several years in a row. And instead of being in the cabin, we were in the house. Not the Harlock house, but the house. And there were beings that also did very grotesque things. It's just not a place that anyone wants to be. And if Shirley Harlock went to this house, she's not coming out alive. Only reason I came out alive is because Wayne died to open the door. She won't have anyone else to die to open the door for her.
Someone has to die for the door to be opened?
There's a logic to the house. I know we were starting to piece some of it together. It's a puzzle. The house itself is a puzzle, but the pieces, they all fit together in different ways, and they still fit, despite them being incongruous. It doesn't make sense, and there could be other ways out, but we weren't able to find them.
Now, how does the smiling man fit into all of this?
He's the thirst in the house. It's a game for him. Thrill of the hunt, I think.
So
maybe that's why
to get out before he catches you if you go into the house?
There's more than just the smiling man in the house. The smiling man is one being among many. They all have different motives. They all have different drives. But the smiling man was one who scared me particularly more than the rest. Some of them could be reasoned with. None of them can be trusted.
Could you describe these other entities?
No. No.
You mentioned that the first time you went into one house, then you went into the cabin, ventured to the same place. You found
It was
a way out. Do you know how to get in?
If I knew how to get in, I would have never been in. If I knew how to avoid it, I would have ran as fast and as far as my legs would have taken me. No, I felt like we were targeted. I felt like the house... It felt like the house seasoned us as children and waited until we'd matured to devour us. No, the house wants you. The house wants to devour you. There's no finding the house on your
own.
So you're saying it would be irrelevant for us to try to go to the cabin that you went to because the house exists somewhere else and the house will appear in whatever residence it wants to if it's targeted you? Am I understanding that hypothesis correctly?
Yes. You could go to that cabin. The police were in that cabin inside and out. They tore the place apart. That's how they found Jimmy, because Gil Ravage hit him in the floorboards. But no, sometimes it's a place that's familiar with you. Sometimes it's a place who can understand a house and what a house wants. there's no rhyme or reason to it, but there's still somehow a logic that connects it all. It's as if you used the word nexus before. That's a good way to describe it. Its front door could connect to that door right there. And he just gestures right across the room. If the house wanted me again, there'd be no way for me to avoid it. But I think the house is done with me.
As we entered this room, we heard on the radio a voice, and it also mentioned the smiling man, and she like glances down at her notes. It said, "Find the doorman if you want to leave. Find the smiling man if you want to stay forever." Did you hear anything like that before?
The doorman is how I left.
Could you expand upon the doorman?
It's one of the beings that I mentioned. It did not seem to be in control of itself. It was at the beck and call of a different being, and that being called the doorman to let us out for a price. And that price was my friend Wayne.
And who determined this price?
I don't think I'd like to talk about that.
Was it this ravage that you've mentioned?
No.
So when you were
But-
inside this... Oh, continue, Doctor.
I was about to say that it's getting late, and the only warning I can give you is that if you're in the house, it's already too late. Don't go looking for it.
A final question, if I may. What could you see when you were in the house looking out?
Depended on the window. Every window had a different view. Sometimes it was farmland. Sometimes it was just darkness. Sometimes there was fog. It usually was very difficult to see further away. There was only one time we saw someone outside of the window. It was a man with a dog and axe. He was chasing down a few cows to slaughter them. The house, it fucks with you.
And when he mentions that, like, because we think we confirmed that Zander told us about like that dream, and so Frieda just kind of like looks startled over at Zander, like, okay.
We want to believe you, Hal, but you're sounding insane right now.
I told you I would.
We'll look into what you've given us, but I think we've gotten all we need from you.
Was there anything else that Shirley in particular inquired about the last time she visited? Could you also maybe expand upon how she was acting during your interview?
She was... She gave me the same fear that you're giving me now. That she was going to antagonize the house. Although she didn't smell as pleasant as you do, as he looks to Zander. And with this plexiglass wall, like there are like holes to like allow sound and air to move through, but it's not like any scent is really, there's no fan or anything pushing air.
Does Zander smell like cake to you?
No. Bouquet of roses.
And Emily's just going to lean over and like...
You don't really smell roses on him. Unless, Zander, what's your cologne smell like?
Peppermint.
What? Peppermint because it's a peppermint cologne, or peppermint because you like are sucking on a peppermint?
You asked for a cologne spell, obviously.
Oh, okay. All right. Good to know. So Emily will just look quizzically at Hal. He smells of mint.
It must be my imagination. Well, it has been, I can't say a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to meet you, but not a pleasure talking with you due to this subject matter. But as you can tell, I'm not in denial. I know what happened, and I will continue to hold the truth, despite no one believing it. And I suppose auf Wiedersehen. He gets up and slowly walks across the room and knocks on the door. A couple moments later, guard opens, escorts him out. Guard on the other side of the your door then opens, and it's the same hallway that it connects to. You can see that Dr. Malloy is already walking further down, like they made sure that there was distance before they let you out of the room, and you're able to leave. One of the guards grabs the donuts to take over to
Thank
Dr. Malloy.
Well, that was not as enlightening as I would hope it would be.
Unsettling in a few different ways, though. Zander?
What do you all think about? Does his story make any sense? Do you believe him?
We know that we have all seen a smiling man, so that detail we know has validity.
He also said he cannot leave the house. Does that... And none of us have seen him in a house. Does that mean that we are all already inside?
I don't...
Or that he was able to leave?
He did state he was the only one who left.
No, I mean the smiling man.
Oh.
Yeah, Hal indicated that the smiling man could only be in the house, according to his understanding of the rules of this house that can appear.
So,
anywhere.
matter what Naveen's trying to say is that either he's trying to, smiling man's trying to leave the house because none of us saw him like in a house, or we are all in the house already. If we don't think he's been able to leave.
Not sure. I just surely also mentioned entities, and he mentioned entities, and I feel like we need more data. But the life of a statement is sometimes we don't always have all the information, and we just have to make sure that we've just received as much statement as we can.
Zander, what? Why was Gil Ravage something that struck you?
It felt familiar. Almost like home.
Okay.
It's a feeling. Not much more to explain.
But the only other person that's had this feeling is someone who's killed a lot of people.
14 confirmed.
I feel like perhaps we need to look into Gil Ravaged.
We have a couple starting points. We can try and get a better understanding.
Do we know how the honeymoon killer committed the murders? Is that a detail that we are aware of? Like, we know of
Do we know the weapon?
allegations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know that at least a few of them were killed with a knife, but then there were other ways as well. It was not like there was a single overarching murder weapon. But towards the end, you would look, the last 5 were killed with a knife. Likely a knife that was found at the scene.
So the murder
Like, yeah, the
weapons. So the murder weapons were theoretically confiscated by the authorities.
You didn't get anything from like the news articles. You'd have to get like police reports for that.
We're creating a list of things yet to do with this statement. That could certainly be something to make inquiries into the local police, making sure all of those weapons are still in lockup where they should be. They were.
There's also the house he spoke of. Can check that out.
So you would remember the house that he went to as a kid has been demolished. The cabin is still standing, supposedly.
But those are both in the States, correct?
Yes. You'd have to get visas and get Johanna to sign off on some expenses.
From what he said, the house was explored by several police officers. There was no way to explore the house in its greater totality. What is curious to me is they were unable to leave, and then one left. The presumption then, the smiling man not leave, is quite foolish. If 4 who were there would not leave, but one did, why would we presume then with the smiling man? Perhaps an entity, greater intelligence, strength, and age, mere human, not find old egrets. Perhaps this very doctor himself allowed such an escape. If, of course, we believe anything this man says.
We all, as we believe each other's reports, as I believe we do, we all saw this smiling man in different locations at the same time. And so something that would be described as an entity would be something that would have the power to do such a thing.
Certainly. But just because one peculiar observation was proven to be true does not mean that we should automatically assume all peculiar observations true. As Sister said, more data is required.
So we
And what's
want,
these conversations? Sorry, go ahead.
so we want to gather information from the police departments. What other items did we have for further exploration?
My question, though, is this. To what end are we undertaking this investigation? Are we aiming rescue Harlock? Are we aiming merely uncover the truth of some strange eldritch practice? Or is simply documenting another strange account? It disturbs me. What are our goals here, Sister?
Shirley has been gone for a year, and if Dr. Malloy's words are to be believed, then it's unlikely that we would be able to rescue her. But I can't deny the fact that Shirley saw a smiling man prior to her disappearance, and he saw a smiling man prior to being taken to that house, and then we ourselves each having encounters with a smiling man, an unsettling man, and then the time distortion, the loss of time, it bothers me, and I would like to find a resolution to that to prevent it from going forward. If this has any connections to that, or if I'm just kind of willfully connecting dots that may not be actually connected, but I'd like to at least make sure that they're not connected. What do you all think?
I perhaps prefer to take action, but it might appear that the action will find us. If individuals who found themselves in danger saw the smiling man before the danger, it may be a matter of time that is out of our control. I know that's not a plan of action, but this might be something that is sprung upon us, not when we seek it, but when this entity decides it's ready.
Which that alone is unsettling. I do...
Oh, indeed. And the cake knife, and the blood that tastes of cake. Zander, this is still distressing.
It's simply coincidence. Makes no sense.
But you also recognize the name, but haven't told us how you recognize the name.
Peculiar?
Yes, you are being quite peculiar.
All we know is we have a Shirley statement, and now Dr. Holloway's statement, and we must fact-check them, cross-examine. Is this Rowan really alive? Is he missing? And we can archive the story.
Do we want to travel to the US of A and check out the cabin, or do we believe that it's been thoroughly searched and would be a waste of our time?
What, Stephen?
Ludwig gave us this.
Sorry, I made a bad joke. I said not in this political climate.
Ludwig gave us this
In
statement.
2015, during the latter years of the Obama administration.
We're in 2025. We're current day. I see it has been 10 years off his whole life.
Could have sworn we were in 2015.
Maybe I said that once and forgot, but now GM, we're in 2025.
Somehow magically, we've all aged a lot.
Last cake. All right, so we'll say that these conversations are happening as you were leaving the prison in a cab or public transport, going to the train station, and you've got a 2-hour train ride back where you're all planning on like future leads to follow, questions to ask, maybe Googling how expensive it would be to get a flight to the eastern U.S. and then rent a car to go up to rural Maine to find a hunting cabin. Knowing that the expense report will be require a rather large bribe to get passed through. And after a couple hours, you make it back to the train station in Hamburg. Sorry, I was being made fun of before. Hamburg, whether that's right. Still can't hear me? Nothing?
Yeah, your mic keeps kicking out.
You're dropping like every other word.
Anything now? Better?
It's better, yeah. It's just as you keep
better.
talking, it might drop out.
All right, so has it been doing it this whole time?
No. Just the last 30 seconds or so.
All right. So you are on this train ride for a couple hours. You make it back to the Hamburg train station. And Zander, I assume you're heading to the lockers?
I'd return to it after we've split from the group, so I'd come back alone and get it.
Okay. So all of you will have to go, like, essentially you are at a train station that still has, like, public transit to get there. Like, there's a subway connection that you use to get back into whichever part of the city you're going to. The train station is pretty central. But you'd be able to split up if you want, but the subway, essentially, everyone's going the same direction to the subway. Are you saying you want to go back to the Institute before you come back to the train station? Or you want to wait?
Yeah, I'll come back later. So like later in the evening, I'd come back.
All right, give me an intellect defense roll here. Difficulty 4.
Okay, I'll go ahead and spend... It's 3 points spent for one lower, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'll do that. Rolled a 9.
All right, difficulty 4 lowered to a 3. That is just barely a success there. You feel this very, very strong urge, like a sense of desperation at the thought of leaving it. But your logical, the logical part of your brain wins out, knowing that you don't want to create a scene with these people who are already on your back, unfairly, I might add. This is completely unjustified. But you are able to leave it, but you do still feel like a twinge of pain at the thought of leaving the knife longer than you should.
I'm sorry, I'll be back.
All right. Anyone else want to comment on him not getting the knife? Because you would all like see him walking past the lockers without stopping for it. All right.
I think Frieda herself, anyways, is kind of just dismissing it. Probably more than she should. She should probably be more worried. But she's too interested on researching Gil Ravage that she's probably got her kind of face in her phone as she's just kind of planning things out.
Naveen is super worried about Zander. So when we leave, she will say that, like, didn't you leave your knife in the locker?
Oh, you're right. I simply forgot. I will return for it.
Okay. I mean, if
Thank you for reminding me.
Keep it overnight. Don't they like have to charge extra?
I've got my ticket here. A couple extra euros won't be a problem.
It's right over there.
Oh, you're mentioning it before we leave.
Yeah.
We'll say that like you're at the subway station and you're like boarding the subway if you want. So you have gone past it a good bit, but you could go back if you want.
Well, you reminded me a bit. I will run for it real quick.
All right. See you back at the Institute.
All right. So Zander jumps off the subway as the doors close. And we see the rest of the archivists here continue on without him. You have another 20-25 minutes or so of public transport. And then you still have a few minutes to walk to get back to the Institute. Zander, we'll cut to you real quick. You jump off the subway. Do you actually want to get the knife or do you want to wait?
Yeah, I'll grab it since Naveen reminded me of it already.
Okay. You go back. You still have your key to the locker. You pop it open. The locker's empty.
Oh no. Where have you gone? I'll go to Lost and Found.
Yeah, you go to like this. They have essentially like these windows that are in this brick wall, and they've got the little metal microphone, like circle microphone that allows you to talk through, and it's got that little tray that like you can slide tickets underneath. And you ask for Lost and Found, asking if there's a knife, and she kind of looks at you a little weird.
Not a knife, but hello, my belongings in this locker.
Oh,
They've gone missing.
do you have the key?
Yes, is this one?
And you had the key the whole time?
The entire time, yes.
It was missing. Did it look like the locker was broken into?
Not that I saw. It was fine. Looked like when I left.
Did it? There's only one key. If the locker wasn't broken into, there's no way for us to open. We have to call maintenance.
Do you have security? Did someone open my locker?
We have the cameras. Yes, let's call security. And it takes, like, we'll say a half hour or so for a security guard to come over. And they are genuinely being very helpful with you. And they bring you into a security office and they start running the tape. And they have cameras that overlook each aisle of these lockers. They ask you for times, like when you put it in, that kind of thing. And they find when you put the knife in the locker, it shows you put the knife in the locker, and then there's a little glint on the camera as you pocketed the knife. And as you see that glint, you feel your sleeve, and it's underneath the sleeve of your shirt, pressed against your skin right there. And this doesn't make any sense because you don't remember putting it there. You went through metal detectors in the prison. You emptied your pockets and everything. It did not set off the metal detectors. But you pull that knife down, and the security guard looks at you like you're a little crazy. Like, why are you wasting my time when, you put one thing in and you pulled it right back out? But you also feel this just wave of comfort as you know that the knife is there again, as you are reunited with it.
I'm sorry for wasting all of our times here. I could have sworn I put this in, but it is here.
No harm, no foul, I guess. I'm glad we were able to help. Are you okay? Why are you carrying around a cake knife?
Good question. It was a gift for later.
Oh, it's a strange gift.
It is a unique one. Something to remember.
Okay. Well, I hope they like it. Have a good evening. And you're allowed to, it's a cake knife, it's not like really a deadly weapon or anything, and you're not attacking anyone. You're allowed to have this. So it's not like they are causing any problems for you. It's just very, very strange.
Can't believe you were with me the whole time.
So that take about a half hour or so. We'll cut back to the rest of the group. Was there anything you wanted to be doing on the way back? Any further discussion that you wanted to have, or are you happy to just cut to the Institute? All right, cut to the Institute. You get off the subway. Hamburg has canals and bridges aplenty that you have to walk across because there's no subway station actually on your little island where St. Catherine's Church is. So it's a few minutes walk, and it's a nice night. It's a little bit cool, but you all have jackets. It's nothing unbearable. And like normal, you usually head just right to your cars. But you notice this time that the parking garage across the street is closed. It's not supposed to be closed. The gate is shut down and locked, and you see a hand-scribbled note, back in 15 minutes. And Naveen, you recognize this note as your friend Albert. He's done this plenty of times when he's on a shift and he just decides to take off. Like when he decided to take off and go to lunch with you, he will literally lock up the garage and leave. So you all are fairly familiar with this. It just means that you've got 15 minutes to an hour before you can actually get your cars out of this garage.
Yeah,
Naveen,
Frieda doesn't drive.
Do you have Albert's number? Can you text him and see if he can hurry up his dinner or something?
I was gonna say I'm gonna do exactly. Thanks, Mel. Same page.
Naveen, you send Albert a text, and you immediately get the red symbol, the little checkbox, and you see 3 dots come up and then disappear.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for like 20 seconds, and if I don't see that pop up again, I'm sending another message just like question mark.
You send the question mark. You get the immediate red symbol. You don't see 3 dots pop up this time, though.
I think he must be in the middle of an emergency or something. She says to everybody else here.
Or he's having a good dinner. He doesn't really have the best work ethic.
No, but like he's good at texting back, and like he's not texting me back.
I mean, he did tell us that he likes to watch movies during work.
Well, that's the kind of thing he'll text me about. Like, if he's not texting back, something, like, I think we just have to wait. It's just like 15
Why
minutes.
don't you
away.
call
It's not a
him?
big deal. Yeah, okay.
While you do that,
I'll try to call him.
I'm gonna go water the plants. Might as well. If I'm gonna have to wait around, I'll go across the street and water everything.
Yeah,
Anybody
maybe we
wants
can
to-
just peruse the archives.
Lucian, are you gonna
try
stay
and
here or
call
do you wanna
him.
come?
Lucian?
Lucian? She said Zander. Sorry. Lucian will... Oh, he is not parked here either. Of course, his dots and cherries elsewhere. However, he is very curious. How is this place? Is it possible?
So it's very possible to walk in. It's impossible to get cars in and out.
Why is it possible? Is that the correct word to use in this instance? Should it be?
So
it would
like
be
the
very difficult to get cars out, perhaps.
Okay, very, very difficult. Yes. So the metal grate that covers the actual like entrance for driving in and out is down and locked. So like that chain door.
But should one be capable of perhaps dismantling or disabling the lock, one could perhaps make the garage accessible.
Lucian, if you want to try and jimmy the lock, I would take a might test. But if you want to make a much harder intellect test, I'll say that you already have a key from at some point prior planning.
I see.
I actually have a thing that might be able to help with that.
Which one?
The having the key. I have a skill related to like having relevant assets. Sorry, give me a second. I'm just pulling it up. Yeah. You observe or study creature object. Your next interaction with the creature or object gains an asset.
Okay, so that asset is meant to be like something moving forward. It doesn't necessarily mean like an item. It could be like intelligence or something like that. That's moving forward rather than like saying you had something but from before.
Okay, makes sense.
So, tell me about this intelligence test, like from me. Expand a bit, so I know what skill perhaps could.
So I would say any way you think you could have deceived Albert from the year or so that you've been around him, because Albert makes himself known here and there, and he can be a little spacey. So like lifting a key off him at some point prior or convincing him you needed a key at some point prior wouldn't be impossible. I would say difficulty 6.
I would very much not talk him into giving, or I have an ability persuasion. For some reason, people do not like to converse with me. However, I do have stealth. Would that be appropriate? Perhaps?
Absolutely. I like stealth.
Excellent. Might I posit another option? Might I use, say, retroactively, as a flashback, one might say, my deathly silent and still cipher, which allows me to hide so well that absolutely no one is aware of me around. And my idea here is that I was inside of his office. He had no idea. And then maybe he got up to go to the bathroom. And I took it. Or maybe he fell asleep and I took it. What say you?
We did establish he's spacey.
What's the name of the system we're playing?
It is called Magnus Archives Cypher System.
Okay, so Cypher System's in the name. I probably can't deny that.
No, you certainly could. I would understand
Monty Cook would be a little annoyed.
I'm
sorry, I'm just setting myself up for stupid jokes. I like the Cypher. We'll say retroactively, like the flashback. That's kind of what we're doing here, because I said it'd be a harder difficulty for the intellect as a flashback. So with the Cypher, we'll go ahead and say hide so well that absolutely no one is aware of you for one round. I think that could count as like easing by 2 difficulty. So between that and stealth, that's 3 difficulty total. I said difficulty 6, right?
That's correct.
All right, so now you're down to difficulty 3.
Checking equipment for anything else. Could we say
You're still going to roll a 2.
Certainly, and that's why doing all this work to lower it makes the 2 even more hilarious and tragic. I wear dark clothing as one of my pieces of equipment. Would that also
You're already not seen from the Cypher. I think that's a little unfair. That's a doubling up.
What about spray paint cans? I could paint his entire room black so he's not aware of anything.
Can I
distract him? He liked the graffiti, so that could distract him.
I would allow friendly help.
A retroactive friendly help is just gonna be talking to him and distract him.
Yes, perhaps as you don't even not even aware of it. I'm fine. Well, I first have to fail. Quiet.
If you feel she is.
I'm not going to allow the spray kit.
I can, however.
So we'll say difficulty 3 still.
I will eat it, however, with some.
And you have an edge, so it costs 2 points instead of 3.
That's correct. So I'm down to 2 difficulty.
If you fail, you reroll.
Go. That is a 12.
Is that the highest you rolled the whole campaign?
I am quite certain. I am not close to seeing 2 numbers next to one another.
I'm with you, Jeff.
All right. So as everyone, as Naveen starts calling Albert to try and figure out where he is, Frieda and Emily begin walking across the street to go water some flowers. Lucian just kind of like leans over and you hear some keys jingle. And then just the rattle as the metal coils up and flies open.
As we have already said, I have a key ring with many keys. One of the keys is to this place. Not that he would ever put his dots and cherry in such a shithole. Help out in that.
In case of emergency, here it is.
For audience clarity.
This is incredible, Lucian. Thank you.
Oh, welcome.
For audience clarity, we have established that Lucian is the one who's been graffiti painting the whole garage. So he's very familiar with this garage.
Is it
Allegedly.
Lucian that is
Allegedly.
doing this? I have heard it is some brilliant graffiti artist named Delta.
Like a Banksy type character, yeah.
Yes. Quite extravagant.
You've been in and out of this garage plenty of times, despite never parking your car here. And Frieda, Emily, you said, Frieda, that you don't drive anyways. You take public transportation or your bike, right?
I
Frieda.
walk or take my bike, yes.
Okay.
I was going through my notes, sorry.
No worries. So your bike would likely be in the Institute then, locked
Yeah.
up there. Emily, did you want to stop going to water the flowers?
If we're alerted to the success, then yeah, if someone shouts across the street to let us know that Lucian produced a key.
You would hear the rattle, like that metal.
It's open. I'm not gonna specify how it's open. I will just yell, "It's open."
Oh, this is excellent news. They can wait till tomorrow. I'll water them tomorrow.
All right. So then you begin to disperse, going your different ways, heading home. Lucian, I think you said you walk as well, right?
That's correct. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna bike, so I join Frieda in getting bike.
Okay. So Frieda and Naveen, I think it makes sense that you would. Trying to think. Likely you would just take your bikes down into the basement. I think that makes sense, right? Like you would like put them in a little, like against a wall down there. So you don't have to worry about them being stolen or anything like that. It is in a basement, so it's a stairway, but it's not that difficult to get the bike in and out of, if you guys are okay saying that.
Yeah, that works.
All right. So then Lucian and Emily, you are awkwardly standing next to each other.
Did you?
Not awkward. Are you looking up?
Did you took care of this?
What is that?
It was locked and it is now not locked.
That's correct. It's
You are.
travesty. Not have access to a place that one has access to.
Well, this is a fairly public place. I mean, really, even if he didn't lock it up, I'm not really sure what bad would happen. It'd be less
Well spoken.
It'd be less
Shall we
obvious
visit?
that he's abandoning his work if he didn't lock it.
One could wonder just what exactly does here.
I think he is just a person at a post, and his presence alone is what he is paid for.
I suppose that is true. And it is perhaps good that he is the one that is at this post and not someone more observant.
That this is true. He might wonder what we're up to if he were paying too much closer attention, though he does pay attention to what Naveen is up to.
Affable. They are friends.
That she is.
So
You're
Zander is completely insane. Yes, I agree. He is a liability. We should report him.
It is very concerning to have a murderer speak of blood tasting like cake, and our colleague walking around with a cake knife and recognizing a name that we don't know.
He explained it as coincidence. He has done nothing but obfuscate.
If we are... It feels as if we are all in danger by the Smiling Man. We're all in agreement with that, right?
Existentially, yes.
So we just shouldn't all be in the same house at the same time? Or make sure we all go into a house at the same time together?
Believe it. The smiling man, whatever entity is, has plans for us. Are caught his proverbial web. Or
That's what I was...
to struggle, perhaps the become embedded.
Yes, that's what I was attempting to say earlier, that perhaps this will just come to us, and we're not going to find it.
It's through.
So, do say some. Indeed.
But seriously, we're going to report him. He really should not be on act. Honestly, I know I am quite peculiar as a person, but when I am the stable one, it's quite alarming.
You have your peculiarities, but you do not seem to have an emotional bond with a long, sharp weapon.
Do not lie, obfuscate, and pretend something is coincidence when it is quite clearly not coincidence.
We should keep him close, though, perhaps.
So that he would stab
maybe
us
someone
with
should
his knife?
Maybe someone should tail him. If he does not know that we are watching, we may gather...
With some reluctance that Zander is capable, elusive, to be.
Might want to think about having someone keep an eye on him.
Should report him. Your word, Rita's word, it will carry weight, would it not?
It should. I fear, though, that when no straight answer is given, that no action will then be taken. Not to say it's not worth the try. But I fear this will be up to us to take this unspoken statement.
See, essentially, our king, a live grenade. We are waiting to explode.
We are also waiting for a house of unknown origin to trap us inside it. So we're doing a lot of waiting for life to come to us right now.
So, to where perhaps are somewhat helpless there, we have some agency. Zander would port him, separate him from that knife. See how it seems to affect him over a longer term. Could have him speak with a psychiatrist of some sort. How many steps we could take is what I am saying. The fact that we are doing nothing is unreasonable.
Tomorrow we will discuss with your sister and Naveen, and if we are all in agreement, we will follow some of these steps.
In through the window of your apartment and slice your throat while you are sleeping tonight, then be able to do that tomorrow, then, will we?
Well, you will be able to visit my corpse and say I told you so.
Why would I visit a corpse? Go there. Just a body. It's foolish.
You can into the vast shout, I told you so.
Not to shout. Keep a...
You really do. I don't know that I've heard you raise your voice ever. But you can.
Our parents were one enjoyed to yell. It is not something I seek to produce.
Well, you can write on a piece of paper. I told you, throw it in a wastebasket, and Message will be received.
I must say, Emily, your carefree nature is usually refreshing. However, in this instance, I find it shockingly absurd. As a grown man, he is in grave danger. He is putting the rest of us in danger as well. Yes, let us go. Choose some juicy fruit. Tomorrow we will see if all is better.
Would you feel better if we staked out his residence this evening?
Good. That, yes.
That would be taking action.
Yes. We are doing it for his sake, of course. His own.
Of course. Yes. And gathering intel.
Gathering intel. There's a very militaristic feel to it. Yeah. I like, what do the Americans call it? The CIA.
You are quite stealthy in your black clothes and your night vision goggles. I have disguise. I could assist. Not sure if we want all four of us to do such sneaking. Seems you are less sneaky the more people you are.
It's true. People.
Then it is decided. We will stake out Zander's home this evening.
Agree.
I didn't expect this. This is fun. Are you planning on following him home? Like waiting for him to get off the subway and so on? Zander, do you drive to work? I think we've said
take public transport.
Yeah. Were you planning on stopping by the Institute?
To drop off documents and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay. So Lucian and Emily, you would probably be able to guess his routine then, that he's going to stop by the Institute as well, drop off paperwork and all that. So would you be posting up in the parking garage where you can see him from the parking garage, the second level, you'd have an excellent line of sight. It's not quite on the end of this intersection, but close enough that you'd be able to see about 75% of the angle around the church. You'd absolutely be able to see the entrance into the basement.
Sounds.
All right. At this point, you had enough awkward conversation that I think Zander would only be about 10 minutes behind you before he's able to recover his knife.
I thought it was coherent, productive.
One person's awkward conversation is another person's pleasant conversation, apparently.
Judgment.
I just think Lucian is always awkward, and I'm the GM, and I get to decide.
So, it's your face.
All right. So you two are hiding out. I would like intellect tests from both of you. We'll say difficulty 2. This is going to be rather simple.
Is this to observe him?
This is observing everything, yes.
Would I ease that with my perception skill?
Absolutely.
Could I ease that with my night vision goggles?
There's street lights and everything like that.
I realize they're ridiculous, but I've literally not used them yet the campaign, so it would be pretty cool.
And you did mention wanting to be the CIA, so it makes sense that Lucian would want to. You took them to work with you? They're not in your Datsun?
Of course I took them. Wouldn't let him Datsun? Absurd.
Right, you pop on your night vision goggles.
They're probably worth more than the Datsun.
Datsun is a collector's edition or something. Why do we all just assume that monetary value is the only way to assign worth?
It's very valuable to you, but in terms of a thief trying to pawn things.
Cherry is right in the name.
All right, so Lucian, you've lowered it by difficulty 2 already, which means that it's difficulty 0 and an automatic success. Emily, what did you have?
I have binoculars, so that feels
I like binoculars.
helpful. I also have nothing else, but I'm willing to spend a couple intellect to also drop it to 0.
Okay. So you spend 2 intellect with your edge of 1.
Yep.
Also drop it to 0. You're sitting or wherever you are with your view perched. Lucian with night vision goggles, Emily with her binoculars. Fairly well hidden. Like, no one would actually see you unless they were specifically looking for you. Like, you aren't necessarily hanging over the side of this parking garage to get a better view. The first thing you notice before Zander even arrives is that Frieda and Naveen haven't come out of the Institute yet. Like, they're just still down there. Maybe they decided to go through the archives like Frieda was talking about. Maybe they're doing some work. But they're taking a little bit of time. And then Zander, you see him walking down the street. Zander, are you walking normally? Would you be looking at your knife? Would you be like looking at paperwork?
Just casual stroll back to the Institute. Nothing.
Casual stroll.
Interest.
Okay. You see that the parking garage wide open the way you would expect it to, although there is no security guard in the little toll booth the way you would expect. But, you know, Albert's flaky, so who knows? And you head into the Institute as well. Lucian and Emily, you see this. 10 minutes pass.
It's an asshole.
20 minutes pass.
So casual. Who walks like that? What does he think he is, John Travolta?
He does have a swagger, I suppose.
He's carrying paint
Completely
cans.
undeserved as well. In the
I get the
training
reference.
pants.
I get the reference.
So, what is he wearing? It's very unprofessional.
Frieda and Naveen, you went to go get your bikes. You dropping off personal items, possibly checking archives, like you said. You head into the Institute. You've both got your own keys to get in. It is after hours from the long travel to Berlin, but you're able to get in and out, no problems. Like, there's no one that would prevent you from getting into the office. You have access 24/7, whatever you need. You go into the Institute. Seems empty. All the lights are off. They flicker on. It's that unnatural lighting. You see the very familiar bare concrete walls, you know, the exposed utilities like this basement here. And you see your bikes parked right, you know, like off to the side like you were. Is there anything you want to like research or check any files while you're down here? Or you just want to grab your bikes and go?
Ash, you had mentioned a couple times wanting to look up this Guild Ravage thing. I'm happy to assist if you.
Yeah,
would
if we
do
want
that.
to, if you want to, it could be easy reading if we just maybe pick up a couple files to take home tonight to get a jump start.
Maybe I can help. I'll help you figure out what files we need.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to look for any mention of Guild Ravage, and maybe like. Have we looked at the honeymoon killings, if we have any reports mentioning anything like that? Cake knives, maybe? I know you guys are really
Yes.
bothered by the cake knife, so maybe we'll look into that a little bit.
I don't like how he's being very strange. And it's being made even more strange by the fact that he's pretending like it's all normal.
Yeah.
Does he not realize how weird all of this is? Because that makes it weirder.
So we've had numerous other colleagues, and archivist positions do tend to acquire eclectic personalities. So
Sure, but I mean, weird's weird, right?
yeah, my position is tenuous
I don't-
already.
Sure, but I mean, I don't want to just say that's just who he is because I don't think that's just who he is.
I mean, I thought I knew Zander. You know, he loved Shirley when she was here, or at least I thought. And then she's gone, and now suddenly, you know, our new, you know, supervisor is.
Yeah, I don't know what this Gil Ravage has to do with any of this, but I have a feeling that looking that up will at least point us in some direction that would just I don't know. I don't feel there are just too many coincidences.
It's all weird. The fact that Dr. Malloy talked about like that a man, you know, going towards to kill 2 cows and then on the property that we were at recently.
That's what I mean. There's just too many things. It's not just one thing that, like, all of us have had one, maybe 2 things happen, and Zander seems to keep having things happen.
Yeah, he's really attracting something's attention, and
so let's look up Gil Ravish. Let's look up everything you think is a good
And Frieda
idea
will say
to
that
do so. And specifically, Steven, I want to use my encourage in this because I think she's very much onto something, which will give her, if I'm inspiring her and encouraging her, which I would like to say I have just done, basically, I give a, while you maintain this ability, your allies ease one of the following task types. And so you pick whatever you want to do.
all right, I do like that. I like that a lot, but unfortunately, I am going to have to nerf you again, and I apologize. Because, Frieda, you start booting up your computer, and you go to the database search, and you type in Gil Ravage, and it seems like the database is down. Like, no files are coming up. It's just like that infinite circle of just loading.
oh, interesting.
Does Magnus, the Institute, do we have like physical files? Or
You do have
only,
physical files,
like
yes.
cloud stuff?
Yeah, then if we see that, I'll do a quick, like, I presume it's kind of sort of like the Dewey Decimal System.
Kind of, yeah.
And she'll go and search to see if she can find anything immediately. And then if not, Frieda's kind of tired with the day, so she'd be fine to leave after that.
Yeah, so
I'm
Naveen,
gonna
maybe you
turn
go
on
first,
my
right?
computer and see if it's like a network thing or if it's like just her being unable to access the database or what.
Yeah, you turn on your computer, do the same thing, and it's still that infinite loading when you search for Gil Ravage.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the physical files then if Frieda is leaving.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe it's the databases. It's one of those like updates or something because it's after hours. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
So we'll say that this is a lot like the Dewey Decimal System, where you just have like these racks of index cards that are like a reference to where the files would be. So you scroll through the index cards trying to look for sorts of terms, and that'll tell you like which file cabinet that the actual hard copy is in. The two of you both start doing this together, and you go through, you're going to G, and as you're flipping through, you notice a lot of these index cards are blank. There's a couple that aren't. A couple cases that you're familiar with, you know, like references for the Donauer case or the Bone Turner's Tale. But most of them are just blank. There's no information printed on them whatsoever.
Which ones aren't blank? Are they all ones we're already familiar with, or is there any that we haven't seen yet that still has information on it?
As you're looking through, the only things that you see that you're familiar with are cases that you have actually researched in the past, like cases that likely you were the ones to put the files in for both of you.
Are
Interesting.
these supposed to be blank? I don't
No.
think they are.
This is really bizarre.
I'm just gonna go grab some random file from the shelf. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna open it up and see if the pages are blank.
They are. You just go to the first file cabinet and you pull out one of the files, and it's just blank pages. And they specifically have like the statement, like the way that the statement form is there. Like your specific Magnus Archives paperwork is there, like the right emblem and header and all that. But there's nothing filled out on the vast majority of these files.
I'm gonna share that with Frieda.
You know, I'm really getting a headache. I wonder if maybe we just need to reset the day and go to bed. This is weird.
Frieda, now that you mentioned the headache, actually, your vision is kind of blurry.
And like she'll kind of like blink her eyes, and then she'll go to her briefcase and she'll get out some eye drops and like pop them in to see if that helps at all.
Yeah, you blink your eyes, you rub them, doing the temple massage or whatever you would normally do for a headache. You go to your briefcase and suddenly it hits you. You put the briefcase on your desk. There's a keyboard right behind it, and all of the text on the keyboard is blurry. Like every single letter, you have trouble reading it. But then you look at your briefcase, and whatever the brand is, we'll say Samsonite, because that's the only one I know, thanks to Dumb and Dumber. You can read that perfectly. And you look at it, and the detail on your briefcase is perfect. But then you look back at the keyboard, and it's just blurry. Like, you can still read it, but it's just blurry, and it gives you that headache.
Okay, weird. She's gonna go back to like the Dewey Decimal System. Do the cards that are blank have like the same effect on her eyes, or no? They're just
the cards
blank?
that are blank. It's hard to tell, and it's not like it's It's not like it's a huge, like a very blurry filter. It's just like you have trouble focusing, on the cards. And the cards specifically, like the Donauer case, those do feel a little blurry. Like they're just trouble to focus. They give you a hard time focusing on them. And we can say around that time, you hear the door open for the Institute again, and Zander comes in. Zander, you come in, you see the very familiar Institute, the blank concrete walls, the exposed utilities and everything. And you go up to your desk, these cubicles, these old style cubicles. As you're able to put your files away, you hear at least a couple people rummaging around in the back room.
Are requesting for Johanna some potential expenses and go check out what the noise is?
Yeah, you'll be able to find the forms, the paperwork. She's not actually there to do, but you can absolutely fill out the paperwork and set them on her desk, her inbox, so that she'll be able to process them when she gets in the morning. You head to the back and you see Naveen going through files with blank pages.
Still working back here?
Yes. These files are not supposed to be blank, and the index cards aren't either, but they are. Can you just grab a file and just take a look at it?
Yes, let me see what you're talking about.
Do you just grab one at hand, or do you go for one that you've seen before, Zander?
I'll take the one she's looking at.
No, I'm specifically asking you to look at
I see.
a file.
I'll grab one off the shelf.
Holding.
So most of these, again, just blank pages.
All the information here. What has happened?
Have no idea. We were trying to look up Gil Ravage, but the database was down, so we came to look at the physical files, and this is what we're bumping up against.
This is a problem. All our work, our hours, years, can't just disappear.
Yes.
And there are some files here, but it's a small percentage of the decades worth of files that have accumulated. And they tend to be the more recent files as well. None of the more valuable old files are there.
Nothing regarding Gale Ravage specifically.
No, nothing.
Okay. So that's what Naveen is expressing most frustration about is that yes, we've lost all the work and we can't even look up stuff related to thing we're doing right now.
We've all
Frieda's gonna go and grab the file that she went over for Shirley Harlock, the one that had the water damage. And she's gonna see if she can still read the words because she's concerned that everything's so blurry and difficult.
Yeah, you go to your desk and you go to grab the Shirley Harlock file. It's not in your desk whatsoever.
Is the Shirley Harlock file in there, Naveen? It's not my desk anymore. And like Frieda's gonna start looking for it, like underneath her desk. Like, is it taped back up again? Is it hidden? Like.
Right, yeah, you start going through your desk. This is the desk you used for, years. The years that you've been at the Magnus Institute. You know it left and right, backwards, forwards. You've always been very organized with your files. It's completely missing. And Naveen, it's not in the back room either.
Which I'm gonna yell out to Frieda. No, back here.
I know we had like a case, like a box for the case going where it had like the little cowboy hat and the other random things we found. She's gonna look for that. Either. Can I see into the window of Ludwig's office? Is it on his desk at all?
Yeah, you can absolutely look in there, and it kind of hits you. This is the office, but the way it's set up, it's the way Shirley had it set up. Not how Ludwig has his desk set up.
Oh. Did you guys hear Elvis? I'm sorry. Did you guys... Zander, did you... come here. Am I seeing things? Do you... Look at this.
It looks the same for you, Zander, as well.
That's Shirley's trinket. What is this?
Muted.
Whoop. That's Shirley's teacup and her favorite sweater, and this isn't. These are all Shirley's things. This isn't Ludwig's things.
Okay. What is happening?
And Zander and Naveen, at this point, you both realize that things are a little blurry for you too. Like, it feels like things are just slightly out of focus.
I need to step outside. I'm dizzy.
I'll come with you. I think I need some fresh air too.
All right, we'll go ahead and cut there and cut to Lucian and Emily with the binoculars and the night vision goggles as you are watching the sole entrance and exit of this church. Like, there's a fire exit, but no one uses that one. You know that no one would ever go through there. It's been...
No, probably.
It has been an hour since Frieda and Naveen have gone down there. It's been about 20 minutes for Zander. You continue to wait. How long do you wait before you start to question what's going on? Like, why are they there so long?
Probably hours. Be an hour, 2.
All right, how about Emily? How long would it? 15 minutes?
Emily maybe would give it a half an hour, and then Emily would ask Lucian, was your sister not just getting her bike? She and Naveen were just going to get their bikes, right?
Sister is a dedicated servant. Archives. More than likely, she is putting extra work in. After all, Zander and Ludwig have been systematically working against her ability to advance. She sees a need, perhaps, to do more. I tell her that this is not true. She needs to find a work-life balance, but she does not listen.
Well, and I think with her being slated to be lead on some of these cases, it's only going to move that impulse, make it more strong.
To have a phone, text her, call. I don't have.
We have discovered that we forget sometimes. I was thinking if we're up here trying to keep an eye on Zander and making sure that he is being safe, perhaps do we want to leave our position of stealth and re-enter the Institute with Frieda and Naveen?
But it's immature. Perhaps we should contact them, see what is going on inside. I suppose it's possible. Zander could have gone on a spree inside.
Oh dear. Okay, I will text Frieda and ask if she has gotten home safely.
You send your text, and immediately
one
you
of
get
those
the ping back.
emojis.
You get the ping back, message cannot be sent. Or message not received.
Well, that is most curious. It says the message cannot be received, but I'm sending it right there. And so she'll do the thing that you do, is just send this exact same. She'll drop the emoji this time. Not that should matter, but she'll send the same. Did you make it home safely? Try to send it again.
And the basically your phone is saying that it's sending, but it's not being received.
Lucy, that did not work either. Oh, yes. Okay. So she'll send the same text to Naveen. Did you make it home safe?
Same thing.
It's about Zander. Oh, you probably don't. Because cool. But perhaps one of the office phones.
I do have his number. He trained me, so he made sure that I had his number when I was new and he was training me.
Oh,
so
yes, it's not alarming. That's not a red flag, I suppose.
And so she says, emoji free. That did not go through to him either. I'm concerned. We should go across the street. Yes. Usually our signal is just fine. When we're down there, we can make calls and we receive text, and it's usually all fine.
As we're crossing the street, Lucian is hit by a lightning bolt. Not a real bolt. He grabs Emily gently on the arm. Wait. Something.
Yes?
Something Naveen said. If are inside the house. Tiff. Inside.
Does that mean well, that was my question from earlier. Does that mean we all need to be in the house together, or does that mean we don't want to all be together?
Go by Termaloy's testimony. It means most of us will not be as been alive. So I guess you must ask yourself this question. Do you feel lucky?
I believe that sometimes luck finds me. Sometimes I am desperately seeking luck and it is nowhere to be found. But I think we should go in.
Of course. Find my sister.
Yes. We will be.
Has done anything to them.
We'll be more.
I probably won't
helpful.
hurt him. I'm not a very violent person. Still.
But you do have a weapon on you, which is more than I have.
It is more for show than it's a deterrent. It's not even loaded.
Fires it. In the middle of
ricochets off all the concrete. All right, so we'll say that we see Lucian and Emily. You cross the street, you go into the church, you go down the steps into this basement hallway. It's concrete, it's wet, it's not finished in the slightest. You see the Institute door. We pan around, we see Naveen and Zander leaving the Institute. As Naveen and Zander, you open the door to walk out of this Institute. You don't see this concrete hallway. You see this beautiful wood-paneled hallway. It is like L-shaped. You see that it goes down and takes a left turn. You can see there's a door off to the left. There are these electric sconces lighting it very dimly. At the end of the hallway, you see that there is a painting. It's a beautiful painting. It's hard to make out details because it is a hallway away, but you see it's like of a coastline. There's a rowboat that's pulled up, and just a vast, limitless ocean. You already had the momentum of like walking through the door. Like it wasn't like something that stopped you. As you're like looking around, you see like the shock of like how this should not be there. As you like look at each other and then you look at this painting again, you see there's no more blurriness here. This is all very easy to see, but there is a little bit of movement on the corner of this painting, this portrait. You see that there's like a little, it almost looks like animated, like there's a little stone that's moving across the beach, and it gets bigger and bigger, and you realize that it's not a stone, it's like a large bird skull. It's got the round top, two elongated dark holes, and a long beak that protrudes, and you see it like kind of move, and you realize that there's a body underneath the skull as well. You see a pale hand with long talon-like fingers pull out around the painting, coming out of the frame and using that to pull itself out. You see the head start to emerge. You see another arm pull, and underneath the wall, you see it grip that wood paneling and leave scratches and indents from these talons. And you see that head just kind of tilt, and you hear this clicking coming from the skull. And that's where we'll go ahead and end the session tonight, as we see what happens to you all. I do have a little picture I can show you all, but that is what you see there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you guys, it's all a simulation. It's all the Matrix. That's what it comes down to. All right.
Oh, my.
We doing okay? I know that was a little bit more of a roleplay heavy session, but we'll get to some action. I promise. We're going to be starting with action next session.
I do
Shit.
not like roleplay.
We're
I prefer
roleplay
the
here.
mechanical.
Yeah, we're all really anti roleplay.
I have a very fine build to put on display.
The whole time you were talking about Zander being like untrustworthy, I was just imagining like your crooked spine, like the hunchback you've got going on.
But Lucian has not lied about any of that or tried to hide it.
This is the thing. Lucian is not evasive or being
Exactly.
weird.
You ask him why do you
He's
look like that?
just very open about being weird.
I will tell you that I have been reading a very phenomenal book. It has changed me.
Clearly, it has
Oh, man.
literally changed you. We're all split up. We're all split up.
All right. Let's do some
Yeah.
shout outs. I haven't done this in so long. I forget how to do shout outs. My Trey, what do we got going on?
I am at my Praise Games on YouTube, where I make system agnostic or multi-system tabletop content that centers the GM and player experience.
Fantastic. As for myself, I made a tabletop RPG recently called Huckleberry. It is coming to BackerKit very soon. We are going to be printing hopefully hundreds and hundreds, maybe even billions of copies. You know, why not? Let's aim big. Hundreds to billions. That's where I go. And we actually are dropping a big update, likely the day that this video drops. So we're adding mount rules to the game. So it should be coming out today when you're watching this. So go to drivethrurpg.com, pick up the PDF. If you've already got it, you'll be able to download the updated PDF for free. It's pretty freaking cool. Jeff, what do we got going on with Lollygaggers?
Yeah, so next stream is what is that? Tomorrow we got Call of Cthulhu. So on Saturdays. Monday we got some Time Watch where we're playing we're on the moon in something. I don't know. We're at the moon and we killed Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. It was tragic. And then on Tuesday we're off for a couple weeks as we are in between campaigns as we just finished up our Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, the RPG. Just finished up that campaign a couple days ago. And so we're going to be starting something new in a couple weeks, but Kipster needs some time to prep it. And then Thursdays, we got more Swords of the Serpentine, which I think is probably finale time for that too. We've been playing that for about 6 months now. So excited to that as well. But that's what we got, man.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and say Auf Wiedersehen then.
Juice.
No, juice.
Ciao.